History books are lying. Africa is not our home. The Indians were you. Welcome to the Aboriginal Channel. On this episode, we're going to be looking into slavery. And to do that, we're going to go back here to 1844 in Samuel G. Morton's book, An Inquiry into the Distinctive Characteristics of the Aboriginal Race of America. He says, ethnography, the analysis and classification of the races of men, is essentially a modern science. At a time when nature and her other departments have been investigated with equal zeal and success, this alone remained comparatively neglected. And of the various authors who have attempted to its expedition during the past and present centuries, too many have been content with closet theories in which facts are perverted to sustain some baseless conjecture. Hence, it has been aptly remarked that Asia is the country of fables, Africa of monsters, and America of systems, to those who prefer hypothesis to truth. Now, we're going to focus on the fact that he said America is of systems. Here in the 1850 book, History of Alabama, and incidentally that of Georgia and Mississippi from the earliest period by Albert J. Pickett, it says right here, during the time of De Soto in the 1500s, when he was going through Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama, it says that upon their departure, they were supplied with 2 women and 4 men. Indeed, De Soto brought from the forests of Florida over 500 unhappy men and women, secured with chains, driven by keepers, and made to transport the effects of the expedition. When any of them became sick, died, or escaped, it was his policy to supply their places at the first town upon which he marched. He always, however, distributed among the principal Indians presents which were gratifying to them, and left at many of the towns pairs of swine to stock the country. Pause. So the system of slavery was already in America before the 1600s. Tribes had what is said here, principal Indians. And those principal Indians, after battles and wars with other Indian tribes were said and done, had the say over a defeated tribe that was left living. So pretty much the system of slavery existed in America before the European invasion. Right here I found an expert from observations on the late and present conduct of the French with regard to their encroachments upon the British colonies in North America, together with remarks on the importance of these colonies to Great Britain in 1755. So when you look this up, it's from William Clark, from the Lewis and Clark expedition. Well, this is the William Clark dude. And basically, when you look this up in the Library of Congress, they revised it and left the bottom line here out. But we'll start right here. It says, the inhabitants of the colonies in North America make a large addition to the subjects of Great Britain. The extent of these colonies, exclusive of the island of Newfoundland, and measuring it upon the sea coast from Nova Scotia to Georgia, exclusive of both, is about 500 leagues or 1,730 miles, and the depth of them as far back west as the South Sea Pacific. The settlements, which are chiefly on the sea coast, may be computed to contain above 1 million inhabitants, exclusive of Indian savages and Negro slaves. That means Indian warriors who have capitals and villages and their own politics and spirituality. And then you had Indians who were survivors of conquered tribes who basically had to be a slave or necessarily had to be an indigent servant to actually live. 1755 is right at the time that the British and the French went at it, and the French were allied with the Indians, it said. When you look on the Indians massacres list, you see the Lenape Indians attacked a settlement on Penn's Creek in Pennsylvania, killing 14 Germans and Swiss settlers. And then in 1757, following the fall of Fort Henry during the 7 Years' War, Indians killed 70 to 180 British. But let's go down here to 1763. It says, Shawnee Massacre of Clendenin, adult males captured women and children, including John Ewing of Virginia. Then in 1765, 5 Cherokee were treacherously killed by the Augusta Boys. And then in West Virginia, Daniel Greathouse killed members of Chief Logan's family. So when you kill chiefs, people that are principal individuals within an area, then the people that they're in charge of become basically slaves of whoever killed that chief. So here they were killing Cherokee chiefs and chiefs' families, running off chiefs so they could take control of the people who were left after the chief was gone. Now, the fact that all of their subjects were along the sea coast, chiefly up by Nova Scotia to Georgia, we know that Georgia was full of Indians all the way up through the 1800s. So what the British had was a trading post that they had going on with the Indians, tobacco, fur trade, things of that nature. A short while after this, the King of Great Great Britain passed a law that said white settlers could not go west of the Appalachian Mountains, and that was in the 1760s. So that would rule out pretty much slavery in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Florida, and even Georgia. So the moral to the story is that if the Europeans were scared to be out in the open because of Indian raids, so they had to stay behind the confines of the log forts, walls, then slavery was not existent the way they have been explaining it to us. The numbers show that Virginia, South Carolina, and North Carolina are the only three places that truly had slavery. And that was where chiefs from all over the country took people that they were already having in servitude, took them over there to them and let them work for them while they made something extra off of them. In order to demonstrate the lack of slavery in the state of Georgia, we need to go right here to the European immigration from the colonial era to the 1920s and see what caused Europeans to leave Europe and come here and win. It says that most scholars of immigration believe that the influx to America was modest between 1775 and 1815. Revolutions in the English colonies and in France, disruption of transatlantic trade during those uprisings, as well as throughout the ensuing Napoleonic Wars and period economic slumps, worked to keep down the numbers of arrivals. It says no single factor explains why the 19th century, that's the 1800s, became such a great era of European migration, but absolutely essential to the movement was the existence of masses of Europeans who were unneeded in their homelands. It goes on to talk about how Europe was overcrowded and how the failure of the Irish potato crop in 1845 and the years immediately following set off a dramatic exodus of people fleeing starvation and diseases that prey on the hungry. It says that Germans constituted the most numerous European ethnic group to come to the United States during the 19th century. They were often identified in immigration records, however, as Bavarians, Persians, or subjects of some other kingdom or principality, because the unification of the hundreds of states that joined to form modern Germany was not completed until 1870. German migration to the United States reached a peak during the 1850s, surpassing the fading influx from Ireland. Then when you go over here to the Georgia county information, you go to look and see how many of the counties or areas of the state were made a county in the 1850s. Banks was created in 1858. Berrien was created in 1856. Brooks was created in 1858. Calhoun was created in 1854. Cass was created in 1861. And Cotosa was created in 1853. Charlton was created in 1854. Chattahoochee was created in 1854. Clay was created in 1854. Clayton was created in 1858. Clinch was created in 1850. Coffee was created in 1854. Colquitt was created in 1856. Even though Crawford County was created in 1822, it says the county courthouse was rebuilt in 1851 after a fire. Dawson was created in 1857. Daughtry was created in 1858. Eccles was created in 1858. Fannin was created in 1854. Fulton was created in 1853. Glasscock was created in 1857. Gordon was created in 1850. Harrelson was created in 1856. Hart was created in 1853. Johnson was created in 1858. Kitchafoni was created in 1853. Even though Lee County was created in 1825, the courthouse in Starkville burned in 1858 with all of the county records. Another fire in 1872 destroyed the temporary courthouse in Leesburg. Miller was created in 1856. Mitchell was created in 1857. Pickens was created in 1853. Pierce was created in 1857. And you see right here where it says Peach was created in 1924. About 30 of these Georgia counties was created in 1860 or beyond, going into the 1900s, as you see right here, 1924. Polk was created in 1851. Quitman was created in 1858. Skilly was created in 1857. Taylor was created in 1852. Terrell was created in 1856. Towns was created in 1856. Webster was created in 1853. White was created in 1857. Whitfield was created in 1851. Wilcox was created in 1857. You see right up here where it says Wheeler County was created in 1912. Worth was created in 1853. So over 30 of these counties were created in the 1850s. And I just read to you the immigration of the Europeans, where German immigration reached its peaks in the 1850s. So again, you can't have slavery where the white folks who they say perpetuated it weren't there. And if they were behind the forts because Indians' lands were being invaded and their people were being enslaved in certain parts of the northeast seacoast area of the United States. Through the history books, which has all been a lie. So therefore, if it's a lie, then what's the truth? If it's a lie, then